we need to talk about the 20-mile-an-hour limit in Wales, because it is 2 years since Wales changed the vast majority of its 30-mile-an-hour roads down to 20. And at the time, people lost their minds over this. People were furious. They said it would result in more accidents because people would be so angry. They were saying that cars would break down because they weren't designed to go at 20 miles an hour. Now we are 2 years on. We can look at the data and we can see whether the introduction of a 20-mile-an-hour limit made our roads safer, made fewer accidents, and resulted in less injuries and deaths. So the first question to answer is, have people actually slowed down? And this one's a really easy one because the answer is clearly yes. This graph shows the speed that people are driving on the roads affected by the change. And as you can see, the mean speed up until September 2023 was around just under 30 miles an hour, and that has now dropped about 4 miles an hour. So clearly, that has seen a big difference in the speed that people are going. Now, many of you will have noticed that actually people are breaking the 20-mile-an-hour limit on average. The average speed has only gone down from about 29 miles an hour to 25 miles an hour. But this is really, really crucial. This still has a massive impact on accidents and casualty rates, because when you're between 20 and 30 miles an hour, every mile an hour you go slower results on average in a 6% drop in casualties. Now, this is really, really big. So actually, if you just a 4 mile an hour drop in average speed has a real impact on the casualty rates. So what are the casualty rates? So the average speed has dropped from 29 miles an hour to about 25 miles an hour between September 2023 and July this year. Now, in that case, you would expect to see about a 25% drop in the number of casualties. And actually in Wales, it's been above that. It's been over 26%, which is really, really significant. Now, what does that mean in terms of the pure numbers? Now, the number of people killed has fallen by 17%. The number of people seriously injured has fallen by 19%. And the number of people that are like slightly injured is down 41%. That is enormous. That is really, really big. People who are opposed to 20 miles an hour might be quite reasonably saying, well, how do we know this is because of the 20-mile-an-hour reduction? Perhaps our roads have just got safer across the board over the last couple of years, and that is what accounts for this change in the number of accidents, fatalities and casualties. Problem is, the data suggests that actually it is down to the 20-mile-an-hour limit. So take a look at this graph that you can see on the screen now. The red bars show the amount of casualties after 20 miles an hour was brought in, and the grey bar shows the amount of casualties the year before 20 miles an hour was brought in. Now, the top two bars are roads of 40 miles an hour and above, so roads that weren't affected by the change. And as you can see, there was more accidents on those roads in the last couple of years than there were on the previous years. However, on the 20-mile-an-hour roads, which are the ones below that, you can see that the difference is massive. There is a huge drop between the size of the grey bar and the size of the red bar. Now, this suggests that the number of casualties being reduced isn't because roads have just got safer, it's because of that 20-mile-an-hour limit. So overall, the total number of casualties has gone down by 630 in that period of time. Now, that's 630 people who aren't having to give up work, who aren't having to attend hospital, who aren't having to not be able to look after their kids. So on a human level, this is important, but it also makes a massive difference financially, because people getting hit by giant bits of metal, funnily enough, is really expensive for society. So the Department for Transport estimates that the amount it costs society for someone to be killed in a car accident is about 2.4 million. A serious injury costs roughly about 270,000, and a minor injury is about 20,000. So if we apply those figures to what's happened in Wales, how much money has the 20-mile-an-hour limit potentially saved? As you can see, the reduction in deaths has saved about £12 million. The number of seriously injured is about £20 million, and the number slightly injured is about £11 million. So overall, that's a £43 million saving in just 1 year. And this trend has carried on into the second year as well. Now, bear in mind that number, £43 million, it only cost about 40 million to implement the policy in the first place. So in 1 year, it's paid for itself. And obviously year after year after year, it will continue to pay for itself. And this has a real good impact on society. But it's not just about society, because what we've also seen is changes in insurance premiums. So insurance companies like Esure have looked through their data, they've got loads of information, and they've seen that in Wales, in areas affected by the 20-mile-an-hour limit, the number of claims has gone down by 20%, so down by a fifth. And they've reflected that in insurance premiums. So this has, on average, reduced people's insurance premiums in Wales by about £45 per year. Not a massive amount, but also not to be sniffed at. Now, I know what some of you are going to say. You're going to say, well, my insurance premium has gone up. Well, yes, maybe it has. Mine has. But that's because insurance is not just dictated by the 20-mile-an-hour limit, there are other factors as well. But on average, premiums in Wales are about 40 quid cheaper than the equivalent places in England. Another criticism of 20 miles an hour has come from the number of speeding fines that people have been given. Now, it is absolutely right to say that since the 20-mile-an-hour limit came in, there has been a big increase in the number of speeding fines. But I don't think you can blame this on 20 miles an hour, because if you look at this chart, it shows that although speeding fines have increased on all roads, the amount of speeding fines on roads between 40 and 60 mile an hour has increased far quicker than the amount on 20 and 30 mile an hour roads. So you can't put that down to the 20 mile an hour limit because it's increased slower on 20 mile an hour limit roads. Whenever I do a video like this around 20 mile an hour, I sit there and I think, does anyone even care anymore? Is this like seatbelts? When seatbelts are introduced, people just got really angry about it, and now people just don't care. It's just part of the routine. It's not a big deal. Now, there is no doubt that people were really exercised about 20 miles an hour when it came in. This graph shows the data for how many people were Googling 20 miles an hour limit. And as you can see, around September 2023, really high, no one's Googled it since. But I think probably the biggest sign that people really don't give that much of a damn about this anymore is the response to the Welsh Government consultation about changing roads back to 30 miles an hour. So when people in different parts of Wales were asked, what roads for a 20 do you want to go back to 30? The response rates were so small. For instance, in Ceredigion, only 0.02% of the population responded. Clearly people don't care that much. In Powys, it was only 0.05% of the population. So although, some people online are very loudly against it, I just don't think the data adds up that people really give a damn about this either way anymore. Whether or not you're really annoyed by the 20 mile an hour limit, I think the thing you can't argue with is that this is working from the point of view of saving lives and saving the public purse money. Like, you can be annoyed by it, you can be frustrated by it, but its purpose was to stop casualties and reduce casualties, and it is unequivocally doing that. If you enjoy this sort of analysis, please subscribe to my newsletter, which is called the Will Hayward Newsletter. Give it a Google and you'll be able to find it. Thanks.